Councillor Michael White with us here. I'd like to invite him on the stage if he can share his comments with us today.
It's a real privilege and an honour to be here with you today. I think what I prefer to do actually is a kind of a conversation with you rather than a speech. So I'll say a few words and then perhaps we'll open a conversation, because business and business retention is really key for the council now. It has been for a number of years, but I'll explain in a minute what's happening in the next two or 3 years, why it is really important. The government what the government does is it gives the council a cheque, and it's a cheque to run our services, and we get a cheque of about 700 million at the moment, and it's been going down over a few years. And this is how our councils have been run for the last 20 years or so. But in 2 years' time, they're going to change all that. They're going to ask councils to no longer be getting this cheque from them. But what they're going to do is they're going to enable us to keep the business rate. Which what happens at the moment, the business rate, is where postman, we collect it for them, we just send it straight to government, and that's how the business rate works. But they're going to stop giving us the cheque, and we are now going to be responsible for business rates. So you can see immediately that business retention, business growth, innovation is going to be really important to every council in the land, because the way in which you ensure future service provision is through business. And without business, then councils won't have the money to empty bins, to clean streets, to provide health cover for the elderly through our social services, to educate our children, to work in our parks, and all the things that councils do will in the future be funded through the business rate. So business rate and business rate retention is really important, and that's why I'm really pleased to be here today to have this conversation with you, and really big thanks to Mr Gunter for pulling this on here at the Apex Conference and Social Centre here, because this place is a good example, I believe, of where Havering needs to be. It needs to grow its business base, and it needs to grow business innovation. And what you're going to be talking about over the next couple of days is the way in which business grows, and in particular looking at things around your workforce. And for me, many of your workforce are my residents, and it's those residents who pay council taxes, who are the consumers of the services that the business rate will be funding in the future. So you can see that there's a very clear link between what you're doing over the next couple of days and the way in which the council will move forward. So some of the things in here, use of technology, the knowledge economy, how you work the knowledge economy, and how you expand and how you make your business grow, are very important today and in the future. And of course, your workforce, if you think about your workforce, whether you're growing your workforce through apprenticeships, or whether you're mentoring, or whether you're taking people straight off of the unemployment register, then clearly your workforce is your biggest asset. And therefore your biggest asset, I'm interested in your biggest asset, because your biggest asset are the residents that we serve as a council. So you can see there is a clear link now between what you do and the growth of your business and the way in which councils will operate in the future. So that's all really good. So to that extent, what is the council doing? Well, yesterday I was in Romford, and my friend at the back there from the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, a fantastic organisation here in Havering, they were at the same meeting where I was opening the Havering Skills Academy. And the Havering Skills Academy is a joint venture of the council, the Havering College, and the business partners in the town centre, the Mercury Mole, the Liberty, the people that run the Liberty. And the idea is that we have this Skills Academy, and we create a situation where we prepare people for work. We give people skills so that when you, the employers, are looking for people with the skills to enter your business, that they're ready there for you. You're not taking people cold straight out of the papers or off the job centre, but you can go to the Skills Academy and know that those people have gone through a vigorous training and upskilling to make sure that they're prepared for the world of work. because, you know, it's a cost, isn't it? It's a very big cost on business when you're looking to employ people, and if you get the wrong people, then that's even bigger cost. So what we're trying to do at the Skills Academy is to help business, basically provide people ready to come into your organisations to take on those roles and responsibilities that you're going to create in the future. So in that one instance, you can see that the council is very interested in the way in which it develops and helps you develop your business. And I suspect the last thing from me is exactly that. You know, Havering, we're really lucky. We've got more SMEs than any other London borough. Last year, we were the third in the country for business startups. And so business and small business is really important in Havering. For us as a council, we need to ensure that we have the right tools and mechanisms in place to make sure those business startups can flourish and can take root and start to deliver the jobs and the enterprise and the entrepreneurs for the future. So the way in which the council needs to change is it has to become more business friendly. It has to be more business focused. And you can see that in the way in which we are changing the way in which council does its business. So, for instance, in the past we've had a regeneration department. In the future we'd probably have an inward investment. We'll have inward investment and business retention, because that's much more important than regeneration per se now. Regeneration per se was about bricks and mortar and delivering of housing numbers. Now it's about business and getting business into the borough. So you can see that the council's having to change the way in which it does its business, and what we're really, really keen to do is learn from business about what it is it needs from its council. And so I suspect many of you come to my award-winning business network, which takes place every 6 weeks, and it's there where I talk to businesses about the future and the kind of things they want to see from us as a council. But since I have a number of you here now, I'm quite happy to end my remarks and just take questions about how I see the future in the remaining time that I have with you. So thank you for listening. I hope that's been informative for you, and I'm quite happy to take some questions from you now.
In Park Lane, we have had a very big problem with youths, to the point that I've had to call in Mr. Andrew Rosindale. I've written him a letter 4 weeks ago, no response. The skills thing is fantastic. I actually employ a young lad who, one has learning difficulties, has been with me for 4 years, and I've got one on work-based learning. But what I see from the youngsters now is they are running the streets of Havering. The community support officers came down for about 2 weeks, cleared the streets, pat on the back, not seen them since. It is affecting our local businesses to the point that the guy next door me was falsely arrested. Clients are intimidated to come to the salon or to any of the shops. So I appreciate what the council are doing, but in order for small businesses to keep on top, I can't afford to spend money out on the fact that a youth might break and has broken my A-board, or that I've got to replace glass, or I've got to replace my shutter because it's getting damaged. So I'd like to know, really, to help business, what the council are going to do with the youths. I actually wrote to Mr. Rosindale and said, clearly in Romford they have walkie-talkies to help each other out. So if my neighbour's in trouble, he can come over the walkie-talkie and we all know, and we can all go and help. So what the council are going to do to help us with this problem, which I read in the record all the time as well, is that you're obviously destroying businesses, especially after London riots.
It's the first I've heard of this, and I'll take it away. I have a fortnightly meeting with the borough commander, and at my next borough commander meeting I'll raise this with him, because quite clearly, you know, what we don't want to see is business leaving the area. And when I think about it logically now, you've mentioned it, the success of Romford and what's happened in the town centre, it could be that we've moved the problem out. Because if I can tell you now, if you look at the latest crime statistics for Romford Town Centre, we're now down to 2 crimes a weekend in Romford Town Centre. from Friday to a Sunday night, which is incredible when you think where we've come from all the times, every week there was a fight or something had happened, 4 or 5 years ago. That's completely changed, but what we might have done inadvertently is displaced that problem. And the problem in Park Lane is the first time I've heard of it, but I'll certainly take it up with him next week when I see him and ask him to find out what he's doing, because if you're not satisfied, then you should be on to me and we should be dealing with that. Has it? Yeah, I've not heard of that, you see. No one's ever said to me we've got a problem with that, so I'll certainly take that away and have a conversation with him on that. Thank you for that.
Do you actually have any specific, I know you talked about inward investment as opposed to regeneration, but do you have any specific models in the planning stage where you will be seen to be more proactive with business so that you can get more on that equal footing with the business?
If you look at things, our local development framework, which is the policy by which the council works with its plan, is very much geared at the moment around housing and housing numbers. So if you like, housing is fixed. So in the past, when businesses are folded in town centres, they've gone and what has happened is they've been replaced by residential. Hollywood's just around the corner. It's a good example. We've got business, which was a nightclub, folded. We've now got Charrington's Court, which is 12-storey residential. So that was the past. The future is we won't allow that to happen, because once you allow residential on a commercial plot, you can't get that back. So if you like, I've said to the council that for me, the test is TJ Hughes in Romford. It's shut at the moment. It's a commercial building. We would not want to see that be developed for residential now, because it makes no sense to us. So the council policies will change. It'll become more driven towards business retention and business growth, and less about housing and housing numbers. Okay? Anyone else? No? Well, thank you very much for listening to me.